So I wasn't going to do a video on this. I thought it would be quite straightforward, to be quite honest. But I made the decision to swap the standard starter motor for one of these bad boys, a high torque WOSP starter motor. Why? Well, being a high compression engine, the standard starter motor, it does the job, starts the engine, but quite often the little recoil on the gear that drives onto the flywheel retracts on starting, so it doesn't really turn it over properly to get it starting reliably. So as a result, it's not always the easiest to start. That coupled with the Weber always means it's a little bit of a struggle, especially in cold weather. So decision made, and the WOSP starter motor looks to be the premium option. One of these for a 1275A series, setting you back near £300. But certainly, if anything's going to do the job, then this is going to do it. And it's a lovely little unit, machined really well. It's lightweight. You've got the built-in solenoid as well, so you've got two connections. You've got the battery and the ignition, and the high torque motor as well. 1.4 kilowatt motor as well, should spin the engine over really easily. So if it's that easy, why have I done a video then? Well, the first observation is you do have this separation between the battery and the ignition. On the MG Midget then, with the 1275 engine, you've got the little solenoid valve that connects the battery to the ignition, and that acts as a switch then to put the power to the starter motor. So straight away there's a little bit of electrical work to be done, so it's not quite as easy as just fitting a starter. So what have I done then? Well, the first thing I've done is remove that solenoid valve that lives here, and you've got the wiring to it here. So this is the permanent live, which comes off the solenoid switch, so I've got to find a way of taking that back to the battery now on a permanent basis. And then you've got the ignition wiring, which switches the solenoid valve. So this is the wire that I've now got to take down to my nice new starter motor, and that means then that I can take a direct wire from the battery straight down to the starter motor, and at the same time connect the main power from the alternator back onto the starter motor, so I've got that feed back from the alternator ultimately to the battery. So a little bit of wiring to be done. I've got to go and get myself some wire, because this is pretty heavy gauge wire. Don't want to be melting any wires with the ampage or power from the battery, so we can get some upgraded wires, take these back to the battery, and then get a long wire that can go from the starter motor all the way back up to the battery here. That then is the easy bit. The harder bit is in fitting the starter motor. So as supplied, I've got two problems. The first is when you fit it. So this is as it comes in the orientation of the mounting bracket. You can see there it's fitted up where it should do. So my first problem is the back of the starter motor is resting on the clutch pipe. So the little tab that sticks up and takes the copper pipe and converts that through a connector to the flexible rubber pipe is fouling on the bottom of the starter motor. So it looks like I've got to disconnect that, which is a pain in the, because I've got to disconnect the clutch and then re-bleed it. Disconnect that, potentially move the pipe out of the way of the starter motor and fasten it back down again. And then the second problem is, if I can get in here, the back of the starter motor here is hitting the footwell on the driver's side. Let's see if I can zoom in on that one. Oh, there we go. So somehow I've either got to reorientate the mounting plate to get that out of the way, or potentially do a little bit of metal bashing to create a bit of a clearance to the starter motor. Why is it on classic cars nothing is ever easy? So the plan of attack then, well, the obvious thing is that the clutch pipe is fouling on the back of the starter motor. Nothing I can do about that because of the positioning, it simply won't sit low enough. So that has to change. So I'm going to hope by moving the bracket down, I can move the clutch pipe back a little bit past the back of the starter motor, and then I'll check the orientation of the starter motor to see if I can move it around one spacing that will create just enough space for it to free the footwell. So I'm going to try that and report back. So 15 minutes later, and by cutting a slot in the top of the hole, we've pulled this out without disconnecting it, which is nice, and then cut off the mounting piece of metal for the clutch cables. That should give us the space, hopefully, to mount the starter motor without hitting this here. So for now, I'm just going to tie this up out of the way so I haven't had to break it, and treat that as another investment opportunity to have a nice braided hose straight from the slave cylinder up to the master cylinder in future. MG Midget, the gift that keeps giving. So with my clutch pipe out of the way now, the cylinder isn't, the starter isn't hitting the frame anymore, but you can probably see just here, if I zoom in, we're still fouling on the bodywork. So looking at it, it's just a tab of metal that's sticking out. So there's enough clearance there, I think, if I just fold that little piece of metal back to give the starter clearance. So I'm going to try that first. If that doesn't work, we can potentially rotate the mounting bracket one slot to move it further out of the way. So a few minutes later then, we've folded back the metal to create clearance for the starter motor. Let's see if it fits. And there we go then, it fits. As you can probably see, that's tight. It probably looks tighter on the camera, but in reality there's about a 3-4 millimeter gap there between the starter motor and the bodywork, and we're not hitting the bottom of the chassis. My clutch pipe just bent out the way for now, just to keep it out of the way. So that's how to get the starter motor to fit. Just some electrics to do now, and we can go for start. Right, half an hour later, and we've got it all fitted up. A couple of tips. Kit comes with a nylock bolt. I'll put that on the top, so the top bolt is absolutely rock solid. The bottom bolt is not long enough to go all the way through. It only gets half the thread on the nut underneath, so I've done that up to a reasonable tightness, but not too much. And it's like a wheel stud that goes through, so you can't actually put a bolt all the way through. So make best if you can for the one at the bottom, make good on the top. We've got the alternator now connected to the starter motor, and that wire goes back up to the battery. So that's the main feed. We've got the main permanent live for the car. That's just long enough on the loom if you move it around to go down to the starter motor. So put a spade connector on the end and put that onto there, and then extended the ignition wire just slightly with the clip that comes in the kit. So put the proper clip into the ignition solenoid to kick the starter off. So in theory, that's all good, fitted. Only other thing, I revisited the starter motor because of the gap between the motor and the bodywork, and decided in the end to move the starter around one notch. And what that's done, if you can just see, is put a decent gap between the bodywork and the starter for any engine vibration. So I think that was well worth doing. Next job then is to put all the timing back together, put the distributor back on, connect up the battery and give it a go. All done then, so we can see the full install. the distributor in, it gets a little bit more hard to see, but you've got the power cables here coming from the battery straight to the starter motor, from there round to the alternator, and then here we've got the wires coming down. So we've got the original ignition wire going to the solenoid on the starter, and then this wire here is the main permanent live that goes around the alternator, just long enough to get to that power connector as well. So in theory it should all work now, so we can give it a go. Well, it doesn't sound particularly pretty, but I'll tell you what, it spins that engine over, and it got it running when before I'd be constantly trying it, and it'd be disconnecting itself and so on and so forth. So well chuffed with that. That should start it from cold much easier. Well, hopefully that's helped someone somewhere. If you're considering a WOSP starter motor upgrade for your MG Midget, you can see what's involved. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for all the questions and comments. See you next time.